real estate investor, but where do you start? I get it, okay? There's so much information out there, so much information on the internet, so much information just floating around that it's hard to know where to start if you're a person who's interested in getting into real estate investing. I remember exactly what that was like back in 2016 when Bunny and I went to our first real estate seminar. And the only thing that we knew is that we wanted to get into real estate investing. But I'm going to give you some things that I wish we had known or wish we had thought about back when we originally started, and some stuff that can help anyone who's already started grow their business. So first and foremost, for the people who are not familiar with what real estate investing is, let me give you a quick definition of real estate investing that I got for you. It says is the purchasing, owning, managing, renting, or selling of real estate for a profit. Now, I'm gonna venture farther and say that it's not just those things. It's also controlling real estate. There is a possibility for you to control real estate without owning it, without purchasing it, without managing it, potentially without renting it per se, and without selling it as well. And if you can control property, it can be sometimes just as, if not more, lucrative than purchasing the property and owning it. And simply what I mean by controlling means that, you know, you can get like a master lease on an apartment complex and put it up as a midterm rental, but you can hire that out to a property management who manages it, and you don't have to do any of the day-to-day work. Now, it does cost you a little bit more money, but that's where the next question comes into play, which is, what is it in real estate that you want to do? Now, most people know that there are different types of real estate investing, right? You can do commercial real estate investing, you can do residential real estate investing, you can do land deals, which became very, very popular during 2020. A lot of land deals got done. And if you live in a major metropolitan area, land deals are probably still very valuable in your area because developers are always looking for new land. Like here in the Nashville and Clarksville markets, there's new stuff popping up everywhere. I mean, there's farmland that's being turned into residential land and into commercial shopping plaza, and even for local municipalities that are looking for land to build, say, new fire departments and libraries. We got a new library going in. We got a new fire department. There's a new multicultural sports event center going in, and all of that land had to be purchased by somebody. And if you're a person who's looking to get into real estate investing, depending on what type of real estate investing, that could have been you who sold this property for, you know, $1.5 million, maybe more. And so that leads me to the question of, what type of real estate investing do you want to get into? That is the number one question that most real estate investors overlook. We just get into real estate investing, but we don't think about the large spectrum of property, of different types of real estate investing. So some of you guys may know wholesaling. Wholesaling is legitimately getting a property on a contract and being able to sell your equitable interest in that property. That's just simply you selling the paperwork. So you have the right to purchase it for a set price. You can sell that right to purchase it to someone else for an increased price, and they'll buy it. We do wholesale deals all the time. It is how we got started in real estate investing, because wholesaling has a lower barrier of entry than most other types of real estate investing. You also have, you know, the fix and flip investor. That's purchasing the property, fixing it up, and then selling it for a profit. Now, even within fix and flip investing, there's different niches that you could do. There's different niches as far as the property types. There's different niches as far as how you get the property on a contract, because not every fix and flip actually requires you to purchase the property. Sometimes you can legitimately control the property as long as you have an agreement with the owner of the property to fix it up and then sell it, and you guys can split the profit, and then that can save you from having to have upfront costs. So there's always, you know, creative ways to get around that. There's rehabs. There's rentals. So if you want to be a landlord, landlording is a great way to build wealth, and that is a great thing for people who are looking for passive income. And if you're a person who's looking for passive income, you want to get that monthly check month after month, and that is what's gonna meet your goal. So think about it like this: what is your goal with real estate investing? Are you looking to make passive income? Are you looking to make quick, fast money? Are you looking to amass a large portfolio of properties. See, Vonnie and I, we have a kind of a hybrid model that we look at. We're always going to wholesale properties because wholesaling properties is the quickest way to get to the money, for one. Number two, if you get a property on a contract and decide that you don't want to fix it or flip it, you can always wholesale the property to someone else. So when we go look at properties, we look at every single property as if we're going to purchase that property and keep it. And then we decide whether or not we want to keep it, and we'll sell it off to someone then. But because we look at it as if we're going to keep it, that means we do all of the regular due diligence that we would do if we were going to purchase and flip or purchase and keep the property. So when we sell that property to our end buyer, we know that we're giving them a solid deal because it was a deal that worked for us. We also broker private money, so we can also have a deal where we wrap the financing into the deal, and now we come with not just one problem solved, but we got your property problem solved, we got your finance problem solved, and then sometimes we even have your contractor already picked out for you. So that gives a buyer with us a different level. Secondly, we're looking at fix and flips, but right now we're doing some buy and hold. So we're buying, fixing them up, holding them, putting them up for rental. So we're buying some properties near the university and putting them up as student housing. We're also buying some properties in the South and fixing them up and putting them up as Section 8 properties. And with Section 8 properties, you know, that's monthly cash flow. And that serves two things for us. One, we're going to get the passive income. And then two, we're going to increase our portfolio because we're looking to purchase. Our goal was to purchase over $1 million worth of real estate in the second half of this year. And we're well on the way. So, and think about it like this. $1 million worth of property, that's 4 properties valued at $250,000. That's literally will give you control of $1 million worth of property. And then you will be a millionaire in assets. You may not be a cash flow millionaire yet, but you could be a millionaire in assets by owning just four properties worth $250,000, and that is a lot easier than you think. So that's one thing. You know, if you want to buy and hold, that's one goal. Some people want to get into real estate investing because they just want to put their money to work. And when you look at it from that perspective, you could be a private money lender. You could be a silent partner, an angel investor, all these different things, because then you could put your money to work, get back a return on your money, and not have to purchase the property, not have to go out and manage contractors, not have to do any of the work. And for some people, that is all that they're looking for. Like for us, we have some investors who do both. But we have some investors that's all they're looking for is to put their money to work. And we do that for them. We put their money to work. We buy the property, fix the property up, gonna burn the property out, get the money out of it, pay them back. They'll get paid, 10-20% interest on their money depending on how long we hold it. And it's a win-win situation. And because we're able to do this, we can rinse and repeat. And they're making money, we're making money, everybody's happy. And again, depends on what your goal in real estate investing is. If you're a person who you're just looking to get enough money to say leave your 9-to-5, you guys who've watched any of my other videos, you know I talk a lot about leaving your 9-to-5. I believe that having a 9-to-5 is a modern day form of slavery, is a bondage, and you're missing out on so much life because you have to be tied to a clock, tied to a desk, working for someone else, making them rich. So I'm a big component to doing whatever you have to do to not have to maintain a 9-to-5 job, okay? And that could be whatever your job, your side hustle is, make it into your main hustle. But I'm a firm believer in that. So for the person who's just looking to make enough money to replace whatever you're making at work, wholesaling is probably a great thing for you. There's bird dogging. Bird dogging is literally going around and finding properties for wholesalers or for fix and flippers. You could do that and you can make some quick cash, get your cash game up, and then you can roll yourself into doing some fix and flips, or you can roll yourself into doing some buy and holds, whatever it is. But the key thing is understanding that once you understand what your goal is in real estate investing, then you can pick the strategy that's going to work best for you. Okay, then you can pick the locations that are going to work best for you. If you're looking to buy and hold, then you need to make sure that you're buying and holding in locations that make sense, because otherwise you don't want to be buying properties in war zones. You don't want to be buying properties in an area where there's no income coming in, so no one has the ability to even rent your properties out. So those are things you have to think about. And the same thing as a wholesaler, you know, if you're going to be wholesaling, you want to be buying properties in areas that are going to sell fast. There's no reason for you to be dabbling around in an area that properties are not selling in, because your whole goal is to get to the money as fast as you possibly can, because the quicker you can amass a little bit of a nest egg, the faster you can get into some different types of deals, and you can diversify your money. Okay, now I did write down some benefits of real estate investing. So for anybody out there who can't really wrap your head around why people real estate invest, you know, it's steady cash flow, appreciation, the tax benefits, which I'm not going to go into tax benefits because I'm not a CPA. You can talk to your CPA for that. And then control. Now let's start with control. Control, like I said, is not like with the stock market where you are... it's not like the stock market where you're controlling something that you can't physically touch. You know, when you're dealing in real estate, you can physically, these are physical assets that you can go out and touch. And then there are assets that are almost guaranteed to appreciate. I don't know about you, but in my 38 years, the property values have done nothing but go up, go up, go up, go up. Matter of fact, I've seen them go up so much in just my adult lifetime that it's just crazy, right? And you know, I want you to think about that. Like, real estate investing is probably the best way for you to hedge your money against things that may happen in the future, right? One thing is for certain is that people will always need a place to live. There will always be a place for real estate investors in this world. As long as there are people here, there will be people looking for places to live, places to rent, places for their business to operate out of, places to store their goods that can't fit in their home. There's always going to be people, you know, government entities looking for places to set up government facilities. There's always going to be a need for real estate. Okay, and is one of the best ways to pass on generational wealth, because it's a hard asset. You're passing down something that appreciates. You know, you could buy a piece of property today for, you know, $150,000 that for your great grandkids may be worth, you know, $2-3 million, because you had the foresight to see that for them. Now, if you're a person who maybe you don't care about that, I'm gonna pray for you. But I just want you to think about that. You know, back in the day, East Nashville was not the most desirable area, but now East Nashville has properties that are selling for $500,000 to $1 million. You know, but just when I first moved to Nashville, you know, just what 10 years ago or so, like, it was not that was not the area that most people wanted to be in. So I think that there's definitely something to think about, right? Real estate investing is definitely one of the best ways to set yourself free from that bondage, like I was saying. You know, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about me. You know, like, when I started, me and Vonnie, we first got interested in real estate investing in 2016. We went to a Rich Dad Poor Dad seminar. For anybody that's read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, you know that book will have you thinking long and hard about what quadrant you fall in. Or am I an employee? Am I self-employed? Am I a business owner? Or am I I forgot the other quadrant. Somebody drop it in the comments if you remember. But it'll have you thinking long and hard about where you fall out in that quadrant, right? And I spent a lot of time as an E. Even when I was in the Marine Corps, I was an E. You know, I was a supervisor, but I was still an E. I worked for somebody. They told me when I could and couldn't go home. Matter of fact, they told me more so than what some of you guys may remember. But after I left that, I took a regular job, and I was making great money, but it was just, I was on the road 80% of the year. I was never having time to spend with family. I'm still learning how to break away from that, because I got so used to working all the time to where I have to teach myself how to just sit back and take a relax, how to take a Sabbath. And but I, I realized that all of the people around me that I knew that were older had worked themselves so much, but then when they look back on their lives, they had nothing. They had little joy to talk about. They had that one vacation a year. They had that one, vacation every 2 or 3 years, because you got to save up to go on a vacation, and the business don't pay you enough for that. Maybe you get bonus, but most people don't. Your business, your job is meant to keep you just over broke. And for most of us, what that feel like. I remember being just over broke, even with my even with my 6-figure salary. I remember feeling just over broke. No matter how much more money I made, I still spent the money, and I always felt like I was catching up. So I used to always say, oh yeah, I'm gonna get into real estate investing when I save up some more money. But see, it took me a minute to realize that the job never pays you enough to save up enough money to do anything other than come in and work at that job. Okay? If you made, think about this. You can make 10 grand a month. If you live in a house, then the house costs you 3 grand. You got a car, and the car and the insurance costs you another grand. You got bills for this house that may be a larger house because you make a little bit more money. And I'm not talking about the person who's going to live frugal. I'm talking about the person who's going to actually live. If you made 10 grand and you actually live comfortably with your family, if you have a family, it's hard for you to set aside, even $1,000 a month sometimes to save. And even if you were able to set aside $1,000 a month, you will only have $12,000 at the end of 1 year. Okay, yes, you could put it into a vehicle that can maybe get you some interest, but let's be real, your bank don't pay you that much interest. The market is not doing so great that it's making millionaires every year. You got to be risky in order to do that. And if you're a person looking to get into real estate investing, being able to save $1,000 a month is a way to get into it, right? Like, I'm not saying that $12,000 is not enough for you to get started. You can flip a house with $12,000. If you don't believe me, ask me. I'll tell you how. You can flip a house with $12,000 in your pocket, right? However, it's hard for you to save the $12,000, especially if one thing happened to you. Your car break down, your hot water heater go out, anything unexpected happened, that $12,000 is gone. But it's hard to save that. And it could take you 2-3 years sometimes. And if you're a person who don't make that much money, you definitely not saving $12,000 a year. You know what I mean? So what I realized was that it was going to take me forever to be able to save up enough money for us to get into real estate investing, especially based off of what we knew at the time. Now, knowing what I know now, I would have left my job in 2016 and started real estate investing. However, I didn't know what I know now. We didn't start until 2018, and it took me getting laid off or fired from a job for me to decide that I wanted to go to do this full time. We had started dabbling in it. We was like half, the part time. We pull a lead here and there, call on it, and we didn't do anything serious. But 2018 happened. Lost that job. When I tell you guys, like I'm telling you, like I had like 5 years, 6-figure salary. It was nice. It was cushy. But losing that was kind of like, oh man. So now everything that we had saved up now I had to use that to survive for the next couple of months until I can get this business rolling. Well, fast forward, it took us 8 months to get our first property like under contract. It took us another 4 months to get our first deal to actually close, because the first property we got on contract did not go through. It was crap. We should have walked away from it. But again, not knowing what we know now, we didn't. But it was a learning curve. So it took us another 4 months or so. So it took us about a year to get that first deal closed. Vonnie got a job in the time frame because we had already kind of made an agreement that I would work on getting the business started, and if we needed to get a job, she would get the job. So we needed to get the job. So she got a job. That was like 2019 time frame. So 2019 into 2020 was when momentum started picking up for us, though. We got involved in the REN group, which is the local real estate investing group in Nashville. Got some great information and knowledge from those guys. Then we went to a real conference, which is a real estate conference that's held in Ohio every year, and we bought two courses there, and we was off to the races then. But the problem is that we didn't follow the courses right, which again, you guys keep that in mind. But we end up getting a piece of land from a church. It ended up being 2 lots. Well, it ended up being 2 lots, but they were actually 4 lots once we started going and researching it at the zoning department and with planning. So we figured out that we could split them up and sell them as 4 separate lots. So once we started doing that, though, like, that was like a game changer, because we were like, okay, we just found these 2 lots. It was owned by the church sold. We had to go talk to the board and all this other stuff, which was really like nerve-wracking at the time, but it was such great learning opportunity for us, because we got used to talking about real estate to not just one person, but to a group of people, and you know, explaining to them how we were a good choice for their property. And it was good. We got that deal closed, and that was our, I think, 3rd or 4th deal, but it was the deal that really pushed the proof of concept that we could go out and do additional research on a property and then be able to get more money for the property, because we went out and did that additional research on the property. So we get that deal closed, and get other deals done throughout the time frame. But you know, we get to, I think, 2020. This is 2024, so 2022 is when we first started doing some private money brokering and private money lending. And we only got into the private money space because we were looking for private money. So as we started looking for private money, we started noticing where there was some weak points in the system that we could, you know, improve on. And so we got into the private money space. That was great, because with the private money space, we were able to get access to 100% financing on our personal deals or deals that we partner with people on. So that was like an amazing thing for us, because it was like, okay, now not only are we able to help people with private money, but we just solved one of our money problems, because now we can get into bigger deals because we have access to this private money. Now we can get into those package deals that we wanted to get into, because we're looking at Section 8. We want to do package deals where we could buy 4 to 10 properties at a time, get them fixed up, and get renters into it, and we can spread our gains and our losses across more than just one property. If one property happens to sit vacant, we don't have to worry about losing money for our investors, because we got other properties that can help pick up the slack. So that was one of the things that kind of pushed us into the private money space. And then we got into the education space, which is really just these YouTube videos. Like, we enjoy making these YouTube videos. We are working on a course, but we, you know, if you guys want a course, we'll teach you how to do this. You know, you just hit us in our inbox or something, and we can work that out. But real estate investing has been such a game changer for us. We get to be at home with our kids. Our kids are homeschooled or virtual schooled. We got an 18-year-old that's in college. She actually goes on campus. But because of real estate investing, we've been able to devote more time to the family. We got a 2-year-old, so, you know, I get to experience him growing up in ways that I didn't get to experience my other kids grow up. And it's just been a blessing, man. But none of it would be possible if we didn't take the first step, right? That's what I said, all of that to get to this point. If you're a person out there who's thinking about getting into real estate investing, stop thinking about getting into real estate investing and just start real estate investing. What do I mean by that? Pick a strategy and then start trying it out. Determine what your goals are, though. When you watch this video, when you get some time, either take a pen and paper, or in your phone, send yourself a text message. You can send yourself text messages depending on what type of phone you got. Send yourself a text message and tell yourself, what are your goals with real estate investing? And on a bigger picture, what are your goals for 2024? What are your goals for the next year? And if real estate investing is on that list, then what are your goals in real estate investing? Are you looking to get passive income? Are you looking to acquire a portfolio of properties? Are you looking to be a landlord? Are you looking to do a fix and flip? What is your goal with real estate investing? Once you know what your goal is, then you can start to narrow down what strategies you need would be most beneficial to you, what time frames you need to be working, and how much work you need to be doing. But if you don't answer those questions for yourself, it will be hard for you to get started, because you're going to just try all kinds of stuff and you may get lost in the sauce. And we've done that, like we've tried a whole bunch of different methods, and we still try a lot of stuff. We enjoy it, but it's our full-time job, so we can afford to experiment more now than we could when we first started out. When we first started out, we needed to focus on wholesaling, right? There was no time for us to think about fixing and flipping anything, because we didn't have the money at the time to get into a fix and flip, or at least we thought we didn't have it. We didn't have access to it. We didn't know that it was possible to get into a deal without having a whole bunch of money out of your pocket. But we had to focus on the wholesaling. And if you're a person who you don't have the money, even if you're a person who don't have a job, wholesaling is the thing for you. Believe me, because here's the thing. You can be a person without a job, go out, ride around the neighborhood, write down addresses of abandoned properties, fire damaged properties, then reach out to an investor in your area and say, hey, I got these properties I'm willing to go and reach out to a homeowner for. If I find them, what would you be willing to pay for them? You can do that. You can do that and start to build a list of buyers, start to build a list of prospective properties, and then just start reaching out to them. And you'll be amazed at the amount you'll be amazed how quick you can get over any of your fears, right? If you got a fear of calling and talking to people, you can get over that fear real quick once you get started. If you have a fear of rejection, first off, if your problem, if the thing that's holding you back from starting in real estate investing is rejection, I want you to understand something. If you allow a rejection to stop you, you gave up your control. Okay? Don't allow the rejection to get to you. Understand this. The faster that a person can reject you, the faster you can move on to the next one. Why even waste your time with somebody who is not interested in what you have to offer? That's okay. They're not obligated to do business with you, and you move on to the next one. Because I'd rather spend 2 seconds with you for you to tell me no, and then I spend 20 minutes with the next person versus the other way around. So don't be afraid of rejection. Don't be afraid of the no. Don't be afraid of making a mistake. Mistakes are okay. That's why you have your title company there, so that you can ask them questions. That's why you have you join some groups so that you can ask some local people in your area questions. And that's why you get onto these type of platforms, so that you can ask people like us questions, and you can get your answers, the questions answered that you have. So if the problem is that you feel like you gotta know more than what you know now, trust and believe that you can learn it as you go. Okay? Figure out what strategy you want to do, figure out where you need to start, and then you can learn the rest of the stuff as you go. There's no reason for you to not get into fix and flip because you don't know how to fix a house. That's what your contractor is there for. Now, you do have to learn as you go what that looks like, and you do have to be able to trust that your contractor is going to take care of you. But see, that's the reason why in the beginning is important for you to do things that will create a safe haven for you. Don't go with the Joe Smo contractor from down the street that just because he gave you the cheap prices, because you don't know what to look for in the quality of work that he's going to give you. You want to go with someone else who they may be more expensive, but because they're more expensive, they're bonded, they're insured, they're licensed, and you can go after someone if they do some work that is not up to the standard that you need it to be. And then you can go over and bug them and ask them questions about what they're doing. Don't be afraid to go and ask questions. Look, when our plumber goes over and start doing plumbing work on the duplex here, we're going to be over there every single day asking him questions. I have no desire to do any plumbing work, y'all. I hate it. Plumbing is my least favorite thing. I don't want to deal with nobody's poop water, even mine. Okay, so I avoid plumbing issues with a fierceness. I cannot stand plumbing work. So I'll go over there and I'm gonna ask him questions though, because as he's doing his work, I get to learn. So whenever I'm dealing with investors out of state, when I'm doing my properties down in Jackson, Mississippi, I don't have to be there to ask questions that I already learned from my plumber. You get what I'm saying? So if you're a person who, like I said, if your thing is that you want to get into real estate investing, but you just don't know where to start, my biggest thing is just get started. I picked up this scripture, and it's Proverbs 24, verse 3 and 4. It says, "By wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures." By wisdom a house is built. Having enough wisdom to know that you want something more, having enough wisdom to understand that even if God has something that he wants to do in your life, he can't even use you because you're stuck at a 9 to 5. He can't even use you because you're stuck preoccupied with the woes of this world versus being able to solely focus on what it is that he has for you. So for somebody, getting away from your job and getting into something that's going to pay you some more passive income so that you can free up your time is exactly what you need to do. Pray about it, and the word will come to you. And through understanding, it is established. Through understanding, through you asking questions, and through you seeking more knowledge as you're doing the task that you're looking to do, it will be established, okay? Once you get started in real estate investing, once you start wholesaling, you start cold calling, you get somebody to tell you yes, and now you say, "Oh, well, I don't even know what to do next." That's okay. Now it's time for you to figure out what to do next. Now it's, you can figure out how to get a contract. You can have Chat GPT write you a contract. You can have Chat GPT give you a script. You can have, look, AI has made it so that anybody is capable of doing anything. If you're a person who want to do direct mail campaigns, you can have the AI write you up a direct mail campaign. You can have it proofread stuff for you. You can have it read local zoning laws and give you the only the parts out of the zoning law that you want. When I want to go and look through someone's zoning laws, zoning manuals are really big manuals, okay? So if you're a person who's not used to looking at that, it may confuse you, but you can upload that into Chat GPT. It'll read it for you, and then you can ask it common sense layman's questions like, "Hey, what does this mean?" And it will tell you what this means. Then you can say, "Can you tell me where I can find that in the zoning laws?" And it'll tell you where to find it in the zoning laws, so that you can check to make sure that what it's telling you is right. But understand that you have all of these tools that are at your disposal in 2024. So there's no reason not to get started in real estate investing, other than you just have not set aside the time to get started, right? And then the rest of that verse was, "Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures." Listen, through the knowledge that you're going to gain once you get started, you are going to be able to do great things. Once you get started with your fix and flip business, you'll be amazed. You'll get to fix and flip number 10, and you'll say, "I don't know why I didn't start sooner." You'll get to rental number 20, and you'll say, "I don't know why I didn't buy my first rental when I was in my 20s." You'll get to that first multi-family project that you buy, and you'll say, "I don't know why I waited so long to get started in this. I don't know why I waited so long to open up that self-storage, that laundromat, that restaurant." All of these, like don't wait. And through knowledge, the rooms are filled. Through your knowledge, through your hard work, you're going to be able to understand what it is that you need to do. You're going to be able to meet the people that you need to meet, and you're gonna be looking back on this time frame, and you're going to be wondering why. I'm gonna give y'all some quick key terms. So, everybody, if you own a property, you probably understand what equity is. For us, when we buy properties, we're looking at equity. So sometimes we'll give up more money on the cash flow because we want to maintain the equity in the property. Point being taken, we had a deal where we were giving up 75% of the cash flow to our investors, and they were going to get 50% of the equity when we refinanced out of the property and paid them off in 4 years. Now, the great thing about this property for us was that we got to keep the property. We wanted to keep the property because of the location and because of future value of the property, so we knew that it would appreciate. But because we were able to give up such a big chunk of the cash flow and the equity, we were able to we raised the amount of money that we would have been able to get. So, that's something to think about. Are you looking for equity? Return on investment. That's ROI. You've heard of that. cash flow, and leverage. Now, leverage is the best thing in the world. So one of the reasons why we are working so hard on getting our portfolio up is because of leverage. Our goal for the second half of 2024 is to control $1 million worth of properties. You know, whether it's to own $1 million, is to purchase another $1 million worth of properties. Our whole point with that is to be able to leverage that asset. Once we are at once we get another $1 million worth of properties, we can leverage that $1 million worth of properties to go and purchase a larger property. You get what I'm saying? For anybody who's played Monopoly, it's the Monopoly effect. We're getting our green houses together so that we can go and buy that red hotel. So that's the whole play of leverage, cash flow, ROI, and equity. But we're looking at leverage in the long term. Our investors are looking for cash flow and return on their investment, and we are mostly focused on the equity that we get to keep in the property, because again, we want to leverage it at the end. So the more equity that we can have in a property, the more we get to leverage. It's hard to leverage what you don't have already because it's already owed to someone. So our whole thing is equity and leverage so that we can make sure that we can leverage that. I want you guys to know that if anybody has questions, we are going to do a Q&A session where we're going to just get on and probably stay on for about an hour or two and just let you guys ask questions that you may have. So if anybody has any real estate investing specific questions that they need answered or any help, you want to definitely make sure that you don't wait. You don't have to wait until then. You can drop them in the comments, but feel free to keep checking back and see when we do that live Q&A session so you can get on there and ask your questions, because 2024 is almost over, man. Y'all ain't getting no younger. Okay, some of us may be getting more beautiful, but you're not getting younger regardless of how you look at it. So don't waste your time. Don't wait any longer. The time to start is now. Okay. You don't know how much more time you got here, so why you waiting? Why you pretending like you got all this time? I know it's Saturday night. A lot of people are ready to go out and party and all that stuff. You know, it's the weekend, it's the summer. People are ready to kick back and relax. But just keep in mind that there's work to be done. There is work to be done. Take your rest, but then remember that there's work to be done. If you're a person who's going on vacation, maybe you're on vacation or going on vacation, drive for dollars while you're on vacation. Go around the neighborhood, drive for dollars, look for properties. So, it's two things. Maybe you don't want to buy properties in the area you're in. Maybe you don't personally want to, but you can still wholesale a property even if you're not in the area. So if you're on vacation in Florida, me and Vonna do this all the time. If you're on vacation in Florida, go drive around looking for properties. You can probably write it off on your taxes. I'm not saying that you can. I'm just saying that you could probably write it off on your taxes, your whole trip, because now it became a business trip. You can probably find a property that will pay for your trip. You find one wholesale deal while you're on your vacation and you sell that thing for 10 grand, you probably made back what you paid for your vacation. Okay, now you can go on another vacation. Another thing is that it's going to get you used to getting out there and looking at properties. Even if you're a person who's looking to fix and flip or to buy and hold, get out there and drive for dollars and look around neighborhoods, because you're going to start to notice things about neighborhoods and figure out what you do and don't like about neighborhoods. And it's going to kind of open your mind when you're looking in your local area too. If you find a property while you're on vacation, depending on where you at, hit us up, because we might be interested, especially if it's in Orlando, Tampa, Jackson, Mississippi, St. Louis, and some parts of Texas. For those of you guys who are in Nashville or in Clarksville area, hey, we'd love to take a look at what you got too. But this summer, get out and get some stuff done. Like don't keep letting yourself off the hook for not getting that real estate business started. Get your website started. You can get free websites online. If you go to, Google Sites used to give free websites. I think they switched over. I don't think it's Google Sites anymore, but if you Google Sites, I'm pretty sure you can still find some ways to set up a free website. Free landing page. You can do a link tree. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. We're living in a new age and time, so you can really you can just do a social media page too. Keep it very simple. Not saying that you got to post a whole lot, but you just want to get yourself out there, get people to know you, work on your pie, which is your performance, your image, and your exposure. And if you have one of the three, but not all three, you're still going to look lopsided. Imagine having big arms, little legs, or you got one strong arm, one weak arm. You know, your pie, you want it to be all three together. So you want to have high performance, you want to have a good image, and you want to have high exposure. Exposure means that a lot of people know who you are. They know what you do. All your family and friends know that you are the real estate investor in the family or in the friend group. Your image means that when people see you, they know you, they like you, and you don't give them a reason to not like you. And if they don't like you, they're just not the person for you. And then your performance is literally that. Is how much are you performing? How much work are you doing so that you can get your business done? Listen, Vonnie said all work works except for the work that you don't do. It's the work that you don't do that will keep you at that 9 to 5. It is the work that you don't do that will not that will keep your income where it's at. It's the work that you don't do that will keep you from getting that first rental property. It's the work that you don't do that's going to keep you from getting that first wholesale deal. It is the work that you don't do that's going to keep you from selling that property that you flipped. It is the work that you don't do that is going to keep you in bondage and in chains to your employer, to your boss man, to the 9 to 5, to the corporate pencil whipper that's out there that's keeping everybody down. It is the work that you don't do that you got to start doing. Okay, it's the hard work. It's the difficult work. It's the unpopular work. But once you start doing it, you're gonna see the fruits of your labor, and I believe that you're gonna be more than happy. Okay, imagine yourself in a year from now not having to wake up in the morning to go into a job that you may or may not like. Even if you like the job, don't mean that you love the job, don't mean that you wouldn't love doing something else. Imagine in a year from now, you have enough money to not worry about what's in the refrigerator. Imagine a year from now, you don't have to fuss at your kids because they left the lights on and cause all this discontent in your house because you're not stressed out over money. Imagine a year from now you're able to go to a restaurant and order anything that you want on the menu. Matter of fact, not just you, but everybody that you went to the restaurant with, you're able to say order what you want because you've been able to amass that type of money. Imagine a year from now you are the person that is able to be so generous that you are helping people to stay out of homelessness, that you are helping people to get their medication, that you are the person who's the employer, and that you're a better employer than the employers that you've worked for in the past. Imagine that a year from now, all of those things could be true as long as you start to do the work that you haven't been doing. It's the work that you don't do. So much peace and love for y'all. I just hey, if you enjoyed the information so far, like this video. We're going to do a whole series about real estate investing to help you guys get started. You can call it the crash course if you want to, but we're just going to share a lot of our learning tips, a lot of our hiccups, because I believe that if I already made a mistake, there's no reason for you to make the same mistakes I've made. And if you don't make the same mistakes I made, you get to the finish line or you get to the next phase a lot faster than I did. Okay, so it took me 8 months to get my first deal, but it could take you 4 months or less to get your first deal because you don't have to make the same mistakes that I made, because I'm going to help you by telling you the mistakes that I made, and then I'm going to tell you the things that we did that was right, and I'm going to tell you how we're getting our funding. We're going to share all kinds of information with you guys to help you get started. Okay, make sure you like and share this video. If you got someone that you know that may be interested, that can learn something from it, share it with them. Like it, follow us so that you can get the notification when we go live again. And I love you guys, man. Like I'm passionate about helping you. Look, call me the business Harriet Tubman. Like, I'm passionate about getting you guys out of this bondage that is your current employer, your current ball and chain. That's really what it is. People use that ball and chain analogy for the wrong thing. That job, the fact that you have to stay in the marketplace, that's the ball and chain. Don't be the person that's 70, 80, 90 years old still having to go punch a clock somewhere. By that time, you should be sitting down somewhere, with a bunch of kids running around you, enjoying life, and able to be, you know, Gam Gam and Papa, whatever your name's gonna be. So that's the goal for me, and you know, I pray that anybody who wants the same thing is the goal for them, that you'll continue to follow us, and let's build some wealth together, y'all. Let's build some generational wealth together, and let's do the things that God put us on this earth to do, not the things that we have to do because we're on this earth to survive. All right. Lord God, I just thank you for allowing us to come together tonight, Lord, and to share this information. I pray that you open up the minds and hearts of the people on the other side of the screen, Lord, and that anything that I said tonight that may be of value to them, Lord, that it will sink in, Lord God. And I just pray that you will continue to work on me as well, Lord, and that you help us all to do the work that we have not been doing, so that the work can work on us. In Yeshua's powerful name we pray. Amen. All right, peace, y'all. Like I said, I love you guys, and hopefully I'll see you guys on the next video.